Temperature 92, south end at 10 to 15. For tonight, partly cloudy skies. Good morning. Welcome to the Greg Belfrage Show. Great to have you along this morning. Well, earlier this morning, the Obamas have endorsed Kamala Harris. Story yesterday was they weren't going to endorse her. But something happened apparently late yesterday, the overnight hours, and early this morning, they announced that they're endorsing Kamala. So let's get to it this morning.
On the air. Tell you what, I don't know about you, but I'm going to go to bed.
The Biden administration has a fatal attraction to nutty ideas.
Dispensing a daily dose of common sense, no prescription required.
I love the show.
I don't hate going to work anymore.
Americans love a winner and will not tolerate a loser. Americans play to win all the time.
I don't believe in the no-win scenario.
This is the Greg Belfrage Show.
Good. Well, good morning, my friend. The marketplace of ideas is open. It's great to have you along. Welcome to the Greg Belfrage Show. Thanks so much for starting your day with our show. The big story this morning, the Obamas, there were reports yesterday that Barack Obama was not going to endorse Kamala Harris. And that story was trending on Free Spoke yesterday. And there were reports out saying that Barack Obama has not endorsed Kamala Harris. Well, as of this morning, they have endorsed Kamala Harris. This took place early this morning. So I don't know if these were late night conversations then that led to an early Friday morning endorsement, but this is, and I mean, we're talking early because by the time I came to work at 4 a.m. Central this morning, they had already endorsed Kamala Harris. So then you begin to wonder, well, was there some overnight conversation about these trending reports that the Obamas would not endorse Kamala? And so then they come forward. I don't know, but I can't help but wonder, and you wonder if a number of other Americans are as well. But Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama have endorsed Kamala Harris early this morning. And this is a video endorsement. And he says, "We called to say Michelle and I couldn't be prouder to endorse you and to do everything we can to get you through this election and into the Oval Office." And Michelle Obama said, "I can't have this phone call without saying to my girl Kamala, I'm proud of you. This is going to be historic." So then Harris responds and says, "Oh my goodness, Michelle, Barack, this means so much to me." This was a taped phone call. So it was taped and then I guess released earlier this morning. I'm looking forward to doing this with the two of you, Doug and I both. That's our husband, Doug. And getting out there, being on the road. But most of all, I just want to tell you the words you have spoken and the friendship that you have given over all these years mean more than I can express. So thank you both. So the Obamas now officially endorsing Kamala Harris. Is that left anybody who is not any Democrat, any high-profile Democrat who has not endorsed Kamala Harris? So, Vice President Harris visited with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu yesterday, and she told him it's time to get a ceasefire deal with Hamas done. They had a one-on-one meeting yesterday. So she said, "I will always ensure that Israel is able to defend itself, including from Iran and Iran-backed militias such as Hamas and Hezbollah," she said. "I've said it many times, but it bears repeating. Israel has a right to defend itself, but how it does so matters," she said. And then she talked about, she brought up with Netanyahu the scale of human suffering in Gaza, including the death of far too many innocent civilians. So Kamala Harris and Benjamin Netanyahu speaking yesterday. Harris went on to say what has happened in Gaza over the past 9 months is devastating. The images of dead children and desperate, hungry people fleeing for safety, sometimes displaced for the second, third, or fourth time. We cannot look away in the face of these tragedies, she said. We cannot allow ourselves to become numb to the suffering, and I will not be silent, she said. So let's get the deal done so we can get to a ceasefire to end the war. Let's bring the hostages home. Let's provide much needed relief to the Palestinian people. And ultimately, I remain committed to a path forward. So that was Kamala Harris following her meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu, or phone conversation with Netanyahu yesterday. Other big stories this morning, House Republicans have now been joined by 6 Democrats. They have passed a resolution strongly condemning border czar Kamala Harris on her failure to secure the southern border. There are forces that are out there that are trying to scrub this, and trying to remove any reference to Kamala Harris's border czar. It's quite incredible. And we'll get into that in more detail coming up in this morning's trending stories. That's one of the top trending stories this morning. So anyway, House Republicans were joined by 6 Democrats. These are 6 Democrats, and I looked from Maryland, Colorado, North Carolina, Washington, Texas, and Arkansas, who are joining with the Republicans in being critical of Kamala Harris and her record as a border czar. And I would expect, and then that kind of makes me laugh because, okay, you got 6 Democrats that are joining in with the Republicans. And guess what? As soon as they're all coming from states where, it's looking iffy for them, so they got to come out more conservative states. In some cases, so they've got to come out. And in the case of Cuellar, you're talking about Texas and the border down there, and so you got to be careful, and you've got to believe then that after this it'll be business as usual again. So be right back to business as usual. 92% of Americans believe that Kamala Harris knew about the president's failing health. This is a YouGov Times of London survey, and was conducted right after the president's announcement to end his re-election campaign. And folks were asked, to what extent, if at all, was Harris involved in covering up Biden's health? 68% said a great deal. 17% said somewhat. But you got 92% of Americans then who believe that Vice President Kamala Harris played some role in covering up the president's health. Also, one major Jewish group is warning the Jewish people will face problems under a Kamala Harris presidency. The Republican Jewish Coalition criticized Harris and her weak condemnation of the anti-Israel protests that ignited this week during Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's congressional address. It was crazy. Go back and take a look at the stories that were trending yesterday that I shared with you. I mean, it was just was overwhelming. And so the national director of the Republican Jewish Coalition said, if you thought Joe Biden was bad on issues of top concern for pro-Israel voters, Kamala Harris is far worse, they're saying. Also, you've got the co-chair of the president's, we're talking about President Joe Biden, and his now defunct re-election campaign, the co-chair, Cedric Richmond, who was interviewed by CNN, and he kind of went off a little bit. He said the wealthy donors had created a self-fulfilling prophecy after Biden's, poor debate performance. He said, you can't win without money. And then they were going to point the finger at the candidate. They were going to blame it on Biden. For a president that has accomplished so much, it was a no-win situation. And he said of these donors, now they need to step the blank up, he said. So this was yesterday on CNN. And he said, was I pissed off at big donors? Absolutely. Said fundraising has big money, fundraising is slowed. People, major donors who have pledged massive amounts of checks, and I'm talking 6, 7-figure checks, have suddenly disappeared, fallen off the face of the earth, rescinded their pledges. Now he's talking about the Biden campaign. That's what forced him out. The money was drying up. It wasn't anything else. Also, we have Donald Trump responding to Christopher Wray and his testimony before Congress yesterday. Or I should say earlier this week. So Trump, what was that? I think that was on Wednesday that Wray testified before Congress. And Trump reacted to this yesterday. And Trump says, this is from Truth Social. This is a Truth Social post, which I prefer because you get, I can see the entire post without the media just choosing a segment of it. So Trump said FBI Director Christopher Wray told Congress yesterday that he wasn't sure if I was hit by shrapnel, glass, or a bullet. The FBI never even checked. But he was sure that crooked Joe Biden was physically and cognitively uneventful. Wrong. That's why he knows nothing about the terrorists and other criminals pouring into our country at record levels. His only focus is destroying January 6 patriots, raiding Mar-a-Lago, and saving radical left lunatics like the ones in D.C. burning American flags, more on that in a moment, and spray painting over our great national monuments with zero retribution. No, it was unfortunately a bullet that hit my ear and hit it hard. There was no glass, there was no shrapnel. The hospital called it a bullet wound to the ear, and that's what it was. No wonder the one-storied FBI has lost the confidence of America. So that's Donald Trump on Truth Social and Post, and so he responded to this, and he went on. He said, "I watched the congressional hearing today as Christopher Wray was asked the question whether or not he noticed any cognitive degeneration in his many conversations with crooked Joe Biden. And despite the fact that special counsel Robert Hur said effectively that Joe Biden is incompetent with little memory, etc., Wray said, it is not something I observed during my interactions with him, which were uneventful and unremarkable, essentially stating that he found nothing wrong mentally or physically with Joe. And he said, Director Wray should resign immediately from the FBI. Stop sweet talking Congress every time he goes up, which he loves to do, because anybody can see that Joe Biden is cognitively and physically challenged. And if you can't see that, you sure as hell can't be running the FBI, unless, that is, you want to illegally lead the raid on Mar-a-Lago. Wray has to resign, and now for lying to Congress. So Trump not very happy with Director Wray's testimony this week. You and I will talk about this story this morning. Trump said yesterday morning that demonstrators who burn the American flag should face a 1-year jail sentence. He was on Fox and Friends yesterday, and he talking about these demonstrators, and he said, rarely have we seen anything like this, and I think you should get a 1-year jail sentence if you do anything to desecrate the American flag. Now, people will say, oh, it's unconstitutional. Those are stupid people. Trump. Those are stupid people who say that. Trump says, we have to work in Congress to get a 1-year jail sentence when they're allowed to stomp on the flag and put lighter fluid on the flag and set it afire. When you're allowed to do that, you get a 1-year jail sentence and you'll never see it again. And all over the world, Putin and President Xi of China, all over the world, they're watching this. Kim Jong-un, he looks at us like we're a bunch of babies. They see that wouldn't happen in their countries. It's impossible for that to happen in their countries. We look so bad to the world. This was a disgraceful display yesterday, Trump said. So again, now keep in mind, this was yesterday. It was referring to the group of anti-Israel demonstrators then that were all over Washington, D.C., protesting Netanyahu's speech before Congress. And so Trump calling for those flag burners. You burn the American flag, 1 year in jail. We're going to talk about that this morning. What are your thoughts on that? I would love to hear them. You can drop me an email this morning if you've got time. Always welcome those. Greg.Belfrage@KELO.com is my email address. Greg.Belfrage@KELO.com. I get these a little bit out of order this morning. We're talking about Kamala Harris and her voting record and a lot of things about her being her role with the border. GovTrack tracks voting records of House and Senate lawmakers. They removed a 2019 webpage that ranked Kamala Harris, she was then a senator, as the most liberal U.S. senator in 2019. That's how they had ranked her, as the most liberal U.S. senator in 2019. Now that webpage, poof, gone. Can't be found. And so it's really kind of pointing to, are these incredible efforts then to try to scrub her history and change the record and hide it from people. And it's what the Democrats do, unfortunately. Also, there's Town Hall's got a piece this morning. And Matt Vespa says the media scrub job of Kamala Harris' appalling record has been offensively blatant, as media outlets and GovTrack have sought to scrub anything that can be used against her. Wikipedia has scrubbed or rewritten their pages. They've been a joke for years in my mind. It's a worthless website. Don't use it. They say, however, Vespa says GovTrack's sin is worse. They deleted Harris' entire page. Then the Democrats' talking points were leaked. So Democrats have got the talking points, and right down the line, they are just following the talking points right down the line. It's just absolutely crazy. Also, we've got the 2024 Paris Olympics opening ceremony will take place today. It's been 100 years since France last hosted in 1924. So it'll be the first time in Summer Games history athletes will travel in boats instead of parading in an arena. So the Olympics opening ceremony will be getting underway today. Few other the U.S. women's national soccer team kicking off Olympics group stage with a 3-0 victory over Zambia. Other stories that are big this morning. Inside Out 2 sold in $1.46 billion at the global box office. Deadpool and Wolverine. It's expected to have the biggest opening weekend ever for an R-rated film. That's opening this weekend. Also, San Diego Comic-Con for fellow geeks and nerds like me. The San Diego Comic-Con kicking off. Also, the Screen Actors Guild calling for a strike with video game companies over their use of AI. And that's a look at the big stories this morning. It's really great to have you along. Well, the Rise and Shine blood drive will be getting underway here in moments. Hope you can join us this morning at Camille's Sidewalk Cafe, 6:30 to 11 this morning. You make a donation of blood, you'll receive free breakfast from Camille's, 2 movie tickets, and a stainless steel logo travel tumbler. So please join us this morning at Camille's. This hour of the Greg Belfrage Show brought to you by the Window Shop of Mitchell, offering custom windows starting at $99 a month.
Weeknights 5 to 8.
Okay, we've got a news and information update coming up. And if you are local, I do want to invite you to the Rise and Shine blood drive. Really appreciate your help. If you've got time this morning, it's underway today until 11. Okay. We'll run down trending stories coming up for you here in just a few moments. Let me check our temperature.
Your bathroom has a case of uglies. Take a picture of it.
Go on, it won't break your camera.
And then enter Handyman's 9th annual Ugly Bathroom Contest.
Pretty hazy again this morning locally.
Prizes for second and third ugliest, and for the most creative entry. July 31st for your favorite images. This season, a reason to unugly your bathroom.
Yeah, this scrubbing of Kamala Harris' record, and especially when it comes to her involvement on the border, it's like never happened. Democrats are just going to absolutely deny that it ever took place. You know, it's frustrating when any political party does that, when they want to rewrite history, and troubling. That story that about Kamala Harris and the records, the media wiping evidence, that actually is trending this morning. So we'll get you local news headlines here in just a moment. Thanks so much for being here. I do appreciate it. Don't think I thank you enough, but thank you so much.
Back up to 92 in the afternoon. Strong winds
92 tomorrow. Ooh,
widely scattered storms Sunday.
That's hot for me. And in Sioux Falls at 6:30, hazy and 73 currently at Kello. Joe Bowman is in the Kello.com News Center coming up. $781 million. That's the proposed cost of running the city of Sioux Falls in 2025. And it's the first time in a number of years that the city is not seeking an increase. Details coming up.
Endorsed Kamala Harris for president.
I can't have this phone call without saying to my girl Kamala, I am proud of you. This is going to be historic.
Video of the former First Lady and President's call to the Vice Presidents released by her campaign. Barack Obama says on the call they're going to be underdogs, but he's confident Harris can win. The leader of Mexico's Sinaloa drug cartel is arrested in El Paso, Texas.
Ismael Zambada Garcia, or El Mayo.
Attorney General Merrick Garland also arrested.
Joaquin Guzman Lopez is a son of its other co-founder, known as El Chapo.
And sources tell Fox he had already surrendered and tricked El Mayo into getting on the plane by telling him they were going to look at an investment property in Mexico. Instead, they were flying north to El Paso. El Chapo Guzman is serving a life sentence in Colorado. America's listening to Fox News.
Kello News Time, 6:31. I'm Joe Bowman in the Kello.com News Center. $781 million. That's the proposed cost of running the city of Sioux Falls in 2025. Mayor Paulton Haken laid out his proposed spending plan in his annual budget address yesterday. Although the budget came in nearly $9 million less than this year's budget, there's still some concern if the city can afford it. The proposed repeal of the state sales tax on consumption could drastically cut city revenue.
While we are fortunate for the strong Sioux Falls economy, we are not immune to the economic pressures being felt across the country by individuals, families, and businesses.
The mayor says inflation is hitting the city hard while sales tax revenues are lower than anticipated for the current budget. He's asking the city council to join him in making tough decisions while dreaming big.
We stand at a pivotal moment with incredible opportunities to take care of today for a better tomorrow and to transform this city while maintaining a fiscal responsibility that we've become known for.
The plan includes money to purchase the possible site of a new convention center in downtown Sioux Falls. Following the mayor's budget address, Sioux Falls City Councilors met to vote on the proposed new clubhouse for the Elmwood Golf Course. The project's estimated cost ballooned from $4.5 million to over $6 million. Councilor Kurt Sowell voted in favor of it despite struggling with the increase.
Give me the all-in number for these projects. If we would have known, it would have been close to $7 million a year ago for this clubhouse. I know we would have had a lot more questions during the budget cycle.
The project was approved on a 6-2 vote. And the Sioux Falls Canaries snapped a 6-game losing streak yesterday. Last night at the Birdcage, Jordan Barth singled home the game-winning run in the bottom of the 10th as the Canaries walked off with a 3-2 win over Winnipeg. The 4-game weekend series continues tonight at 7. From the Kello.com News Center, I'm Joe Bowman.
The news never stops. Kello News Talk 1320 107.9.
Hazy skies again today for the Sioux Falls area after patchy morning fog. High temperature 92 and a south wind at 10 to 15. For tonight, partly cloudy skies, a low at 73. Tomorrow, the wind out of the south again cranking up to 30. High temperature at 92. Widely scattered thunderstorm chance by Sunday. From the Storm Center at Kettleland TV, I'm meteorologist Brian Karstens.
Controversy and conversation go hand in hand on Kello. News Talk 13.
All right, get these sorted out, then we'll get underway here in just a couple of minutes.
Intelligence is that it's always trying to learn. From what it learns, it later plagiarizes. But what happens when AI runs out of human-generated content? I'm Kim Commando for SimpliSafe. Save 20% on a new SimpliSafe system with the Fast Protect plan at simplysafekim.com. If AI needs research but has exhausted all human-generated material, fine. Some of these large...
There we go.
OpenAI, Microsoft, and others begin using synthetic data. That's a fancy phrase for research.
Boy, it feels like a Friday for me this morning. You know what I mean?
And this is when AI flies off the rails with nonsensical...
Forgive me, I was responding on my phone here because the Rise and Shine blood drive is underway this morning locally. So for those listening in the Sioux Falls area, we're at the community blood bank is at Camille's Sidewalk Cafe today. And the blood drive just getting underway, just started a few minutes ago. And I received an email from Ken Versteeg if you're free and if you're able, they've got slots that are open this morning. So I'll be talking about that more in just a moment. But it's a great opportunity for folks to be able to donate, and it's an important time of the year. Start getting into late summer. School's been out, and so there are a lot of school kind of college related blood drives, and so those diminish then over the summer months, plus the need for blood goes up during the summer. So this is an important blood drive. So if you've got time this morning, we really appreciate it.
I want you to have it too. Get 20% off any new Simply Safe.
Okay. Where are we?
Just visit simplysafekim.com. That's simplysafekim.com. simplysafekim.com. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
The Kim Commando Show, live Saturday mornings at 9.
I kind of get a little bit rugged as the week goes down, getting up early, and I'm good on Monday. I'm sleeping on the weekend, and I'm good on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, by Friday. It's coffee. Coffee is very important in my life.
Pick up the best meats for summer grilling at Renner Corner Meats. Ribeye, T-bone, sirloin, and New York strip steaks, fresh ground beef, pork chops, and boneless, skinless chicken breast. Try their world-famous homemade real beef jerky, now in many stores. Renner Corner Meats in Renner.
Hey, are you worried about your aging parents? Are they safe? Are they happy? Are they lonely? It's not easy to see your parents getting older. You want to make sure they have the best retirement possible. And that's why for years now, I've been recommending Washington Crossing Retirement Community, because it feels like home for the people who live there. Washington Crossing offers maintenance-free living. So what does that mean? Well, what it means is mom and dad can focus on enjoying their retirement and not have to focus on chores around the house. And the community at Washington Crossing, very vibrant. Folks are friendly. They got all kinds of things to do and activities. So you won't have to worry about your parents. And also you've got the staff of Washington Crossing there and available, making sure your parents are safe and comfortable. So Washington Crossing Retirement Community is where your parents can live their retirement to the fullest. And you can breathe easy. Give Washington Crossing a call today and take a tour. I recommend it. Go see it for yourself. Give them a call today at 605-271-9273. See everything that Washington Crossing has to offer. That's 605-271-9273. And you can find a lot more information on their website, WashingtonCrossingRC.com. It's Washington Crossing Retirement Community, premier retirement living at a great value.
Entertaining talk and news when it happens at your fingertips.
Download the free Kello AM app and listen wherever you take your phone.
With just one touch, you can keep your finger on the pulse of South Dakota. The app is free at Kello.
Kello, News Talk 1320, 107.9.
6:39, hazy and 73. And you're listening to the Greg Belfrage Show on Kello this hour, brought to you by the Window Shop of Mitchell, offering custom windows starting at $99 a month. Well, the Rise and Shine Blood Drive is now underway at Camille's Sidewalk Cafe. And I just got an email from Ken Versteeg of Community Blood Bank. And he said, if you want to join them this morning, you can call the donor registration table. Their number is 605-403-7941. 605-403-7941. And Ken says they'll take walk-ins as well. And he said those with appointments will be first priority. So if you've got time this morning, we really, really appreciate your help. The Rise and Shine Blood Drive is underway this morning at Camille Sidewalk Cafe until 11 a.m. this morning. They're at 41st and Grange. You can't miss them. And again, you'll be able to get in and out faster if you give them a call. Call the donor registration table at 605-403-7941. And everybody who makes a donation this morning will receive free breakfast courtesy of Camille's. You'll receive 2 movie tickets and a stainless steel logoed travel tumbler. So please drop by this morning. Call if you can, make an appointment, and you'll be amazed. You'll be able to get in and out, and boom, you're on your way. But what a great start to your day and your weekend by making a donation of blood this morning. Again, the blood drive underway at Camille's today until 11.
What's trending now?
Add them on Facebook.
Let the tweeting begin. The hashtag does that. News and views from Belf's News.
GovTrack, which tracks records of House and Senate lawmakers, removed the 2019 webpage that had ranked then Senator Kamala Harris as the most liberal U.S. senator in 2019. And the webpage is gone. Social media users say the page was still live on July 22nd, but GovTrack has not confirmed the exact date the page was removed. So the original link to the page, now page not found. A lot of that going on, scrubbing, hiding. Yeah, we posted that previously. In fact, that story is trending this morning from a number of sources, justthenews.com. And in fact, I think that's the story I just shared with you. Mediaite even reporting on this. And how they're trying to change Kamala Harris' record. Axios accuses GOP of fabricating Kamala Harris's border czar title 3 years after reporting she was Biden's border czar. So you got Axios doing an absolutely abrupt about face. And apparently you're supposed to have forgotten. So meanwhile, they're out there, they're scrubbing everything they can off the internet. Newsbusters has also got more on this. GovTrack deletes claim that Harris was most liberal senator. Yeah, it's just crazy. It's frightening. You know, when you stop and think about it, it's a little bit frightening when you have the media engaged. Again, it's not being truth tellers. You know, what they're engaged in is political activism. Not telling you what happened and trying to hide events and things they've reported to you in the past. What, us? No. We never said that. We never reported that. Good luck finding any record of that. Crazy times we live in. Also, 6 House Democrats have joined Republicans in condemning Kamala Harris and her time as border czar. So there are stories at Internewscast and Yahoo and the Washington Examiner this morning. And so Harris campaign team is mobilizing, and Republicans are trying to remind the public about the 3-year period when more than 80 million illegal migrants crossed the border following her speech in which she told migrants, do not come. Harris was never appointed to be border czar, but she was tasked with finding the root cause of migration, which led to her being known as the president's border czar. So what was the root cause of migration? That's what she was doing. Also, a whistleblower, according to one whistleblower, the night before Donald Trump's rally in which he was shot, U.S. Secret Service repeatedly denied offers from a local law enforcement partner to utilize drone technology to secure the rally. In other words, you had local law enforcement who wanted to use drones, and the Secret Service said no. That's according to a whistleblower. And this piece says that local law enforcement repeatedly offered to provide drone coverage above the rally, but they were rebuffed by the U.S. Secret Service. This is according to Senator Josh Hawley. He said the technology was available and able to be deployed, but the Secret Service said no, he said, according to Hawley. Donald Trump going on the offensive against Kamala Harris, holding his first rally since Joe Biden dropped out of the presidential race. We talked about that in more detail yesterday. It was a big story earlier this week, but Donald Trump turning his attention on Kamala Harris, as well he should, calling her a radical, and he really did not pull any punches. Donald Trump didn't. Other big stories this morning. The United States has arrested a Mexican drug lord, and this is El Mayo. He's a drug kingpin. They call him El Mayo Zambada, and the son of his former partner, El Chapo. They were arrested yesterday in El Paso, Texas, and reports say this is a major coup for U.S. authorities that may also reshape the Mexican criminal landscape. Zambada is one of the most consequential traffickers in Mexico's history. So there's going to likely be some fallout from that. So we've got the Olympic Games that get underway today. And trending this morning, Salt Lake City, Utah was chosen to host the 2034 Winter Olympics. So they were awarded the 2034 Olympic Games to Salt Lake City. That's a big story this morning. Also, I may pronounce this, sports names are anymore, it's even just names in the media in general are sometimes, for my Midwestern tongue, are a little bit difficult to pronounce. No disrespect intended. But tennis star Coco Gauff joined LeBron James as flag bearer for Team USA at the Paris Olympics. That story has been trending. Also, a DOJ watchdog saying there's no evidence that Donald Trump, at the time he was president, no evidence that Donald Trump forced Attorney General Bill Barr to diminish sentencing for his longtime advisor, Roger Stone. So that came from a Justice Department watchdog. DOJ Inspector General Michael Horowitz said there was a significant lack of evidence that Barr's decision to undo prosecutors and their sentencing recommendation for Stone, there's no evidence to show that that was actually influenced by Trump's own criticism. So no law, rule, regulation, or DOJ policy including those related to conflicts or ethics prohibited Barr's participation in the Stone sentencing. Also, a former Uvalde police officer pleading not guilty to charges. This is coming, you may remember the deadly shooting in Uvalde in 2022. And Adrian Gonzalez was among the nearly 400 law enforcement personnel who responded to the scene, but then waited more than 70 minutes to confront the shooter inside the school. He faces 29 charges of abandoning and failing to protect children, 19 for the 19 children killed and 10 for the children who survived. So he has pled not guilty, and yeah, the families there, it's heartbreaking to see the families. And they're pleading with him, say you're sorry. They're also the judge who found Donald Trump liable for fraud and ordered Trump to pay $454 million. This Judge Engeron says he will not recuse himself from the case. So Trump has asked Engeron to step aside, which is on appeal. And he said, I am supremely confident in my ability to continue to serve, as I always have, impartially. I know I'm trying to withhold my laughter. The judge said that over 3 years into the litigation, his recusal would result in immense prejudice. Also, U.S. and Canada scrambled fighter jets after China and Russia held their first joint bomber patrol right up near Alaska. And so that story was trending yesterday about China and Russia, testing. Then this is up near Alaska airspace. So now the U.S. and Canada responding to that, scrambling their own fighter jets. And the U.S. Sun headline said, dramatic moment, U.S. fighter jets come face to face with Putin and Xi's nuke bombers for first time in chilling World War III escalation. Might we want to tamp that down just a little bit? I don't know. World War III escalation. I'm not saying that's not what's happening, but that seems to be a bit extreme, perhaps. Also, Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, has issued an executive order to clear homeless encampments following a Supreme Court decision. So he ordered the removal of these homeless camps in California while providing support, he says. And there are a number of stories. This is a UPI story. CNN also reporting on this. Issued an executive order yesterday calling on California state officials to begin taking down the homeless encampments. And Newsom, his office stated the governor has ordered state agencies and departments to adopt clear policies that urgently address homeless encampments while respecting the dignity and well-being of all Californians. That story's trending this morning. A mega donor, Democrat mega donor, John Morgan, says, good luck to Kamala Harris, but he won't be supporting her. And he said that Biden's endorsement of Harris is revenge to those who ousted him. He told the New York Sun that giving money to Kamala, he said, his heart's just not in it. You have to be enthusiastic or hoping for a political appointment to be asking friends for money, he said. I am neither. It's others' turn now The donors holding the 90 million can release those funds in the morning. It's all yours. You can keep my million and good luck, he said. But he's not backing Kamala Harris. Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib, the only Palestinian American serving in Congress, facing backlash for holding a war criminal sign during Benjamin Netanyahu's address to Congress. And Netanyahu, pretty fiery speech that Netanyahu gave this week. And he promised total victory in Gaza. That was coming from Netanyahu. Also, Meta is cracking down on, they have removed thousands of Nigerian Facebook accounts that have been involved in sextortion scams. And then finally this morning, Tesla stock has dropped pretty significantly. So it's continued to fall for the second quarter of this year, and it's wiped out $16 billion of Elon Musk's net worth. So Elon Musk, the drop in that Tesla stock has reduced his worth by $16 billion. That's an enormous hit. I can't even put my arms around that. And that's a look at the stories trending this morning in Belf's News Gallery. Thanks so much for letting me join you, and I want to invite you again to join us at the Rise and Shine Blood Drive. It is underway right now, going on until 11 this morning at Camille's Sidewalk Cafe at 41st and Grange. This hour of the Greg Belfrage Show brought to you by the Window Shop of Mitchell, offering custom windows starting at $99 a month.
From information.
Well, I want to thank you, my friend, so much for letting me join you this morning. Please, if you'll take the time to hit the like button or the dislike button, makes a big difference, and I really do appreciate it. That's going to be it until Monday. So I want to wish you I hope you'll join me for the after show, also coming up on YouTube at 9:30 this morning. So I'll see you then. If not, see you on Monday morning. So long until then, my friend, and may God bless.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds,